You clicked on this video for a very specific reason. You know it's about time that you started reading again. You know deep down in your heart, otherwise you wouldn't have clicked on this video. It's time you started reading again. What happened? We used to love reading in our childhood, in our past. Our life story was built and forged with the words that we read on pages of the books that we held. I'm trying to sound poetic. That probably really fell flat. I do apologize. The point is that we loved to read, and somehow reading was usurped by the smartphone. Let's be honest, it happened. I know it happened to you because it happened to me. It happened to so many of us. One day we were holding a book and we were reading so much and we loved it. I don't know about you, but when I was reading, like consuming books a lot, I loved it. I was reading so much. I was reading tales of heroes and dragons, epic fantasy, if you're wondering. I love fantasy. And then suddenly I'm scrolling. And that defines my existence. Scrolling. And you know the problem with scrolling? I mean, we all know the problem with scrolling. It's that the algorithm determines what enters our eyes and our ears. You see the problem with that? The algorithm determines the substance of our mind. We aren't the champion of that anymore when we give it to our phones, when we give it to algorithms. And instead of inspiring an entire world of dragons and discoveries and epic landscapes and heroes fighting villains, we're reduced to this. And our mind is filled with junk. This has just been my own story, okay? And I'm trying to tell it in a way that hopefully provokes you to see the absurdity of it. Social media and phones have replaced books. And that is a tragedy, because books connect us to our ancestors. They connect us. They plug us into the great imagination of humanity and all of the most brilliant ideas of humanity. And sure, you might say they're on the internet. We have the internet. What a great marvel. But what do we do with the internet? We sit and scroll the stupidest, most junk food of the internet. I mean, maybe you don't. Maybe you engage in social media in a really thoughtful and intentional way. And that is really good. I wish I could achieve that. I need to work on that, genuinely. Yeah. Books are extremely important. Now, I'm coming to this video from a very direct experience. I was inspired about 4 months ago to start reading again. I just had the intuition. Something in my heart or my mind told me, Josh, you need to start reading again. It's extremely important. And I had to listen to that voice. It was coming from some deep place within. I don't know. It was just coming to me. And so I listened, and I picked up this book that was half read. I had left it on the shelf. It was picking up dust. Abandoned. Like so many books in the world, abandoned. And I picked it up, and it felt like an insurmountable task to start reading again. It felt like I would have to climb up a mountain. When in the past, reading was like breathing. It was so easy. I would consume pages and pages. But now it was just about impossible. I didn't have any focus. I didn't have any endurance. I would sit down to read, and after 2 minutes, I'd be on my phone again. So when you want to get back into reading, or when you do get back into reading, because you are definitely going to do that after this video, it takes a little bit of training. You have to train your mind back into it. It's a slower pace. is a much slower pace. Actually, I don't think it's a slower pace. It's a normal pace. Reading is life at a normal pace. It's the smartphone and social media it's way too fast. It's making our brains all scattered. It's turning it into mush. Brain rot. Right? There's a reason why it's called brain rot, and everybody agrees on that term. Anyway, it takes some training. You have to build up the muscle again. So, commit to just 5 minutes a day and gradually build up, because that's what I did, and it worked. It worked. I had a book that I was interested in, and I just showed up 5 minutes a day, just reading through it, and after about a few weeks I finished that book, and it was a big accomplishment. I was really thrilled with that. But something within me was stirring. It was like I'd pushed something downhill, and now it was rolling. It was picking up momentum, and I picked up the next book and I read that, and I picked up another book and I read that, of course in the fantasy genre. Of course I love fantasy. But a really interesting thing happened when I was in the fantasy section looking for the next read, and nothing was jumping out at me. I was feeling rather underwhelmed with the options. Well, there were a lot of options, don't get me wrong, but nothing was speaking to me. And that voice came back to me again, and it said, I don't know, it pushed me forward. It moved me away from the fantasy section. And that is an unheard of thing in my childhood. I would only be in the fantasy section. But I ventured out of the fantasy section and into the history section. And I can't believe it, but suddenly I was browsing the history books, and history has never really been a subject of interest for me, but there I was selecting 2 books. I chose a book on the greatest archaeology discoveries, and I selected a book titled How the Irish Saved Civilization, and I read these books, and suddenly it was as though my taste was like evolving, and now I was awakening this interest, a genuine interest in history. And when you awaken an interest in something, it's like you see it from a new perspective, and suddenly you have a deeper appreciation for it. And now I've developed a passion for history, and I've been consuming all of these history videos on YouTube. But this ball of momentum was building and building, and I took these 2 books on a trip around Spain and Portugal, this epic adventure that I went on for a few weeks. And it seemed like that one little decision to start reading again had somehow spanned out into so many other areas of my life. And it was all of these pieces were falling into place when I was in Portugal. And we were in Porto, and there is a famous bookstore there called Livraria Lalo. I don't know if I probably butchered that name, but it's a famous bookstore where J.K. Rowling was really inspired there. And you can see it. It's very Harry Potter-esque. It's got this really magical staircase. And it's actually not the most pleasant experience. There's so many people there, and you have to book a time, and it's really hard to move around. If you're actually trying to select the book, it's extremely exhausting. But there I was in this, magical, famous bookstore. And the book that I pulled out from that store? That I found? The Iliad. Homer's Iliad. And so all of this amounted, all of these, that little decision to start reading, it kind of snowballed. And, all of these other areas of my life, like I won't get into all the details here in this video, but it all amounted to me exiting Livraria Lalo with the Iliad in my hand. And that's when I knew, oh my God, I'm called now in my life to read the classics. I can't believe that's so crazy for me, because I never would have dreamed of making that decision. But here I am now, about 4 months after deciding to start reading again. And now I'm on this new journey, this new adventure of reading the classics, which I'm about to begin. I haven't begun the Iliad yet, but this is my endeavor, one of my endeavors in 2026. And I've already outlined this whole curriculum, this reading curriculum for myself of the classics. And I've very deliberately laid out Homer with the Iliad and the Odyssey, because that movie is about to come out in cinema, which I'm really excited about. And I'd like to read it before I see it. Hemingway, because I'm also a writer. That's another detail I haven't gotten into, and one of the reasons why reading is so important to me, and maybe it's so important to you. Maybe you're a writer and you don't even read, which is a big dilemma. So Hemingway, I won't get into why, but and also Plato. That's just me sharing what I'm into now. And of course, there's a lot of books I want to read, but the point is, I'm back into reading. It's such an important part of my life, and I can already see a big transformation unfolding in my life only after 4 months. Maybe the thing that will change your life is just a small decision in this little periphery area of your life. Just a small thing, making a small decision here or there. It might be exactly what you need for things to start snowballing, and suddenly all of these pieces will start falling in place, and you'll realize, oh my God, this is who I'm becoming. This is destiny. And that's what I really want for you, because that's what's happening to me. I don't know why I felt inspired to make this video. This has been completely freeform, so please let me know what you think below. This is a brand new channel for me. I'm really excited to start growing this channel in the new year. This is going to be one of my chief creative expressions, and I'd like to talk about a lot of the themes that we've already discussed in this video. So if you found value in this video, or if you enjoyed it, if you like this memoir style content, then definitely subscribe. And that's it for this one. The journey has only just begun, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya. Bye.